Alrighty, welcome back, everyone. We just talked about the transfer portal, gave an update on where everything is going in that spring transfer portal. Likely the last one that we'll do there, just to start moving on to some football. I feel like we've been talking about the portal a little bit too much, honestly. But let's start to break down some big time players in the college football 25 game. I think all of us are looking forward to that game, but specifically playing with some individual players. Maybe they're your favorite player on your favorite team, but maybe there's just a guy across the country that you think is absolutely electric that you're excited to play with. Well, I have my own list, and it's a little bit interesting. There's definitely some players on here that maybe you didn't expect to be on here, or maybe you're a little bit more off the beaten path, but it starts with Aiden Childs for me. I cannot be more excited to play with this kid. If there's an Aiden Childs fan club anywhere on Twitter or Instagram, or they can meet in person, I don't care. Just let me know where they're at, and I will absolutely be joining because this kid has juice. I absolutely loved watching him at Oregon State a year ago. He can make things happen out of thin air. He does incredible things with his legs. Obviously, that is going to be the big time seller for him at Michigan State. There's going to be a time or two in this college football season, in the real college football season, where he's going to make incredible plays. He's going to evade rushers. He's going to run all over the place, break some tackles, score a ridiculous touchdown, and everyone's going to say, that's insane. Or everyone's going to say, that only happens in a video game. Well, it happens in real life. This dude is absolutely off the charts talented and cannot wait to get my hands on the sticks with this kid because I don't know if there's a D lineman, linebacker, DB, it doesn't matter. I don't know if there's anyone that can run down this kid in real time. So it'll be fascinating to play with him. Avery Johnson is another guy kind of in the same way. I love quarterbacks that have that running ability. As you can see, I love specific quarterbacks. I was a big-time Justin Fields guy when he was coming out, and that didn't necessarily work out the way that I was hoping. But Avery Johnson is one of those guys that I just cannot wait to get my hands on in this game. I think he's someone that, especially with that offense that they run, and a guy that is a little bit further down on this list with Dylan Edwards, running read option after read option and zone read after zone read and doing so many different things is just going to be insanely fun. I could go through an entire game with Kansas State only running rushing plays and enjoy myself to the nth degree. I think it'd just be incredible, so very excited with that one. And then comes the obvious one, Travis Hunter. This is one that is an absolute layup. When you can play a full game as one specific player, it's a special thing. This is a guy that plays 134 snaps a game, has no problem, comes up to the podium after and says he'll play another game. This dude is absolutely remarkable, and him in a video game, I don't know how you contextualize that, to be totally honest with you. They say they're going to have wear and tear as a part of the game where guys get a little bit more worn down as the hits start to pile up. I don't know how you do that with Travis Hunter because it doesn't seem like it happens in real life. I don't know how his body works. He's obviously some type of superhuman, but the reality is I don't know if you can include wear and tear for him because it seems like his body doesn't have wear and tear, but it's going to be fascinating to play with him. Cannot wait for that. And then you have Ollie Gordon, probably going to be the highest rated running back in this game, or at least should be. If he's not, then I got a little bit of a problem with that. But I think he's going to be incredibly fun to play with. And not only because of who he is on the football field, but also the O-line you're going to be running behind is going to be one of the best in the game. There's no two ways about that. They are incredible across that line, and you'll find it's really, really fun to play running back when those big-time holes open up and you can get racing down the field with Ollie Gordon. So definitely someone I'm very much looking forward to. There are a number of running backs in this game that I'm looking forward to, but Ollie Gordon might be at the top of the list because of that mix of power and speed and that offensive line that will make life a little bit easier for me, not going to lie. Then we get to the defensive side of the ball. Let's talk about Abdul Carter because I love me a good edge rusher, especially in one of those video games where you can beat that tackle off the edge and make a user sack. That's always a very, very fun thing. I think this dude is more than an edge rusher, though. I'm going to use him, obviously, to sack the quarterback, but the reality is when I have a guy that can drop back in coverage, that can cover sideline to sideline, that can just play outright middle linebacker if you need him to, you got to love that kid. So he's someone that if I'm playing as Penn State and I'm on the defensive side of the ball, no one else is being controlled by me. There's no question about that. I am Abdul Carter down after down after down, and wear and tear can, I'll figure that out on the back end. That's just the reality. I think this guy is going to be incredible on the virtual field, but also the literal field this upcoming year. I think he could put up just ridiculous numbers, and we'd be looking at him wondering why he was not the going favorite as the top defender off the board in this upcoming draft. But that will come as, time goes on. But let's get to the back half of this list, and another Kansas State guy on this list is Dylan Edwards. One of the most electric playmakers in the entire country. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. He returns kicks. He can do literally anything you want him to do on a football field. And when you have that type of speed, it gets really fun to play with him. He is a get the ball in his hands type of player, and then just watch him fly. He is so much fun to watch. You could literally just build your entire offense around him individually, and you'd have a pretty darn good offense. There's no two ways about that. So very, very excited to play with him. Kansas State, as you can see, is going to be a team I get my hands on quite a bit in this game. And then you have Silas Bolden, maybe one that you were not expecting to be on this list, but when we talk about kids that are just get the ball in his hands and watch him fly, he might be the very top of the list. This kid can do things with the ball in his hands that are just out of this world. And every now and then throughout the season, and you'll hear someone say that Steve Sarkisian's got a couple of tricks up his sleeve. Well, this is the trick up his sleeve. It's just get the ball out to Silas Bolden and watch him fly. So very excited to use him, not only because of what he brings, but also that playbook with him at the central of it is going to be a thing of beauty. And then we get back to the defensive side of the ball. Harold Perkins is going to be so much fun to play with. The same way Abdul Carter is going to be the only player I control for Penn State, Harold Perkins is going to be the only player I control for LSU on the defensive side of the ball. And part of that is because there's not a lot of us other guys that I'd like to control, but also Harold Perkins is just remarkable. He can do anything on the football field that you need him to do. His ceiling, in my eyes, is as high as anyone in the country, barring position. And I think with him in this video game, I think the speed number is going to be off the charts, especially when you talk about a linebacker. He's going to be able to make every single play you want him to make, so I would not be shocked if Harold Perkins ended up being a guy that people really sunk their teeth into and maybe set up an entire road to glory around a linebacker named Harold Perkins, because it would be really, really fun. I think he's someone that you don't necessarily love playing defense in these games. I fully understand that, but he's going to make it more fun than anything else. And then you had Luther Burden, a wide receiver from Missouri. This one's clear. When you have a top wide receiver in the country, he's always going to be fun to play with. When you're a quarterback and you're throwing up balls, and you always want to throw that deep ball, right? You always want to throw the fades. You always want to throw the 50-50 toss-up type plays. Luther Burden's going to catch like 90 of them. He's more of a 90-10 guy than a 50-50 guy, as we've all talked about. So he's going to be incredible to watch. I think I'll throw fade after fade to this kid and just watch him make play after play. So I cannot wait to play with Missouri, play with this kid, and just watch him do crazy stuff on the video game, knowing that he does that crazy stuff on the football field as well. And then finally, Jalen Milroe. This is another one that feels a little bit of a layup. I'd be very surprised if he was anywhere under a 94, 95 in this upcoming game, because this kid is special. I know there are a lot of people that like to poke holes in his game and say, he's not an NFL quarterback. Well, he's not yet. He has every ability to make those strides this upcoming year, and obviously his legs are what make him special. There's no two ways about that, and I'm going to enjoy that very thoroughly when playing this game. But I got to be honest, the thing I'm most excited about is just unload a ball with this kid. His arm strength is going to be one of the best in the entire game, and he throws a deep ball as good as anyone in the entire country. So maybe the first play of the game when I'm playing with Alabama is just going to be letting one rip to Kendrick Law down the middle of the field. So I cannot wait to play with Jalen Milroe. I think he's one of those guys that not only gives you the fun of a read option type offense, but also every now and then you can just take the top off and throw it all the way down the field, and it'll be a really, really fun time. There's no two ways about that. For honorable mentions, everyone else. Literally everyone else. I don't care the player, the team, the name. It doesn't matter. This game is going to be incredible. I'm going to try to play as every single team in this game at some point while I have it, but I just cannot wait. I genuinely cannot wait for this game. We're a little bit less than 2 months away at this point, and you can almost taste it, right? But we'll do more content around this game. We'll talk about, what the highest rated players might be, who the highest rated teams might be, who I'm going to pick for my dynasty, where I'm kind of battling between Buffalo, UNLV, some other small teams that are bouncing around, and my Texas State is another one. So if you guys want to help me out with that, leave your suggestions in the comments. But that'll do it for this edition of the GSMC College Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to subscribe to the show, leave a positive review. It does make a huge difference for us. Also, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all of the social pages for all of the content and updates you could possibly need. We have incredible people doing work from soccer to basketball to baseball to women's sports to wrestling to golf to hockey. I could go on and on. It's incredible what these guys do, and if you need anything in the world of sports, come on over to GSMC and we have you more than covered. But thank you once again for listening, and I will see you guys tomorrow.